Welcome back to Healthcare Sucks. We're kind of jumping into things today. I'll have some more discussions. So this is more of a newsy, the evening news with Healthcare Sucks because we care because we don't suck. We just talk about people that do suck. Sorry. All right. So we're gonna see an old guy, the oldest patient to survive,
But
101.
tonight, there are also stories of inspiration.
Feel good. Feel real good today.
At 104 years old, Bill Lapshie survived World War II, the Spanish flu, and is now likely become the oldest American to beat the coronavirus, a symbol of hope for a country in need of just that.
And next, we're going to talk about the captain that did the right thing to save his troops. I know both sides of this. You should never go against the grain. But you know what? When you're the captain of an aircraft carrier, that's like being a real captain of a city. And I say that because there's very few governors, even few senators, like Ron Wyden that I spoke to today. We're going to talk about that later. Or not himself, let's clarify. One of his main people. He's it sounds like they're really trying and they're really caring, guys. And yours truly is going to be having some input. That's awesome, man. Because I'm looking out for all you Team 99 and all you other people and your friends and your family. I'm looking out for us all. And if we can get Ron's ear to listen, we can get the other ears maybe to listen. And that would be good. So let's check this out about this captain.
Tonight, the White House stressed Americans should not go out and buy medical or surgical masks that are in short supply, but should instead fashion their own face coverings from homemade items. Lester?
All right, Miguel, thanks very much. The Navy says at least 137 sailors aboard the aircraft carrier USS Theodore Roosevelt have tested positive amid growing criticism over the firing of the ship's captain who pleaded for help to stop the outbreak. NBC's Courtney Cubie on the extraordinary scene as the captain left his ship.
The Navy may have fired Captain Brett Crozier, but his sailors would not let him go quietly. Chanting his name, sailors swarmed to say goodbye to Crozier, who sounded the alarm about a growing coronavirus outbreak on board the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Before departing, Crozier turned to wave farewell. Earlier this week, he begged Navy leaders to help the ship's crew in a letter first reported by the San Francisco Chronicle. "We are not at war," he wrote. "Sailors do not need to die." Acting Navy Secretary Thomas Modly says Crozier sent the letter to multiple people on an unclassified server rather than going directly to his leadership.
To me, that demonstrated extremely poor judgment in the middle of a crisis. Because what it's done, it's created a firestorm.
But critics say Crozier was dismissed for speaking out and trying to protect his sailors.
The administration is not going to be able to fire their way out of this problem.
In a statement to NBC News, a group of sailors on board the aircraft carrier agreed, saying Secretary Modly has turned a military crisis operation into a political reprisal, adding that Captain Crozier has the full faith and confidence of this crew. In an interview today, Acting Secretary Modly called firing Crozier the hardest thing he's ever had to do. Lester?
All right. Courtney, thank you. There was new evidence today of the alarming toll on the American workforce as businesses cut more jobs last month than any time since the Great Recession. Here's Jolene Kent with that.
Tonight, the economic crisis is spiraling. After 10 years of consistent job growth, the U.S. lost more than 700,000 jobs in March. Jonathan Bauer and his wife Alicia lost their restaurant jobs in rural Idaho.
That's our month-to-month, week-to-week, how we pay our expenses and how we live our lives.
Unemployment rising to 4.4%, the biggest month-to-month uptick since 1975. But that doesn't capture the full magnitude of this crisis. The survey for the March jobs report was taken from the 8th to the 14th. It wasn't until the 19th that these statewide stay-at-home orders started going into effect, shutting down cities and towns across the country, and before scores of companies began layoffs.
Now we're seeing the unemployment rate go up rapidly overnight. The underlying unemployment rate today is probably already 10%, if not higher.
Pierce Fleming had already laid off most of his workers at Common House Ale Works in South Carolina, now only offering takeout.
We've seen a 92% drop.
He has a loan payment due tomorrow and is paying his remaining employees out of his own pocket. To survive financially, Fleming needs help from the new federal Paycheck Protection Program.
If we do not get something deferring that loan payment, I will have to have some really tough decisions about what we need to do to continue to shed costs to try and keep the business.
Two of Fleming's banks tell him they weren't ready to open applications when the program launched today, despite assurances from the Treasury Department on the eve of the launch.
As I spoke to all the CEOs yesterday, I've been assured that the banks will be in the process starting tomorrow.
See, and that's the problem too, guys. Is they're promising, and you know the ones that do have the money? The big banks, the big business, the Wall Streeters. Yeah, they got the money. But what about your average Joe that's trying to keep his doors open and, survive this? What about the rest of us that are waiting for that money too? Well, as I said, I'm going to have a discussion with you about what I found out today later. I know it's like suspense. But I just have I wanted to give you some news first tonight before I gab my life away. I'm joking, guys. I'm in one of those moods. That's what happens when you have chicken fried steak for dinner with mashed potatoes and gravy. That's right. It's a hearty American meal. And I'm trying to get you all one. That's right. If I'm elected, you will all get a chicken fried steak with gravy, mashed potatoes. None of those other crappy potatoes. Mashed, real, homemade mashed potatoes. Butter, little salt, pepper, little dab of milk, stirred to like, oh yeah, I'm talking the real deal. And gravy that will just like make your chair do a backflip. And with that, I love you all. Stay safe. If I didn't make happy you hungry, I'm not doing my job, am I? Have a good one, guys. And remember, healthcare sucks. I'll be back.